Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Friday, the 21st of March 2025, the year BSV comes alive. Experience the best of both worlds today at betbitcoinsv.com, the best casino and sports betting on chain. Have a little flutter in private using the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin. Right, let's see what we've got today. I've just got this fantastic article here from CSW. I don't know if we're going to get through all of it, but I certainly want to have a go at reading it about the necessity of open source in blockchain. This is probably related to Terranode hopefully becoming open source on March 31st. So that's just literally 10 days from today. How exciting is that? Got this article from Zem Gao that I wanted to read the other day, but I didn't get around to it because I was busy. We'll just look at some more of CSW's posts, some other things that I found, an article that I've recently written for someone, some 365 days of Bitcoin history, and then that'll be the end of the show. Right, let's get into it.
See Satoshi like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong and transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terranode, you'll surely see.
Here we go. Right then, so he starts off with this saying the necessity of open source in blockchain. Security, trust and misconceptions of open source movement. Introduction. The necessity of open source in blockchain systems, particularly within Bitcoin BSV and Terranode, emerges from foundational cryptographic principles, security requirements, and the philosophical nature of validation-based trust. Unlike the ideological stance of GNU open source movement, which frames software openness as a collective good and prioritizes communal ownership over private innovation, Bitcoin's open source necessity... Oh, just lost my... place there. Bitcoin's open source necessity is not rooted in political philosophy, but rather in the cryptographic requirement for verification. Open source in the context of Bitcoin is a practical and necessary feature that ensures the system's integrity, allowing users to independently validate transactions, enforce immutability, and prevent manipulation. Without the ability to scrutinize the code and audit its execution, Bitcoin would devolve into yet another centrally controlled digital system where participants must trust unseen intermediaries rather than verify the system's accuracy for themselves. This paper explores why Bitcoin SV and Terranode, in adherence to Bitcoin's original design, must be open source, not as a matter of ideological purity, but as a fundamental necessity for cryptographic security and economic trust. It will examine the essential distinction between Bitcoin's transparency and the broader collectivist open source movement, emphasizing that Bitcoin is not anti-patent, nor it is opposed to private ownership of software. Instead, Bitcoin's code base must remain open to ensure that its consensus rules remain inviolable and that its network remains resistant to centralized control. This requirement is an extension of the fundamental principles of cryptography, as articulated by Chertoff's law, which I've probably pronounced that really wrong, which states that a secure system must not depend on the security of its design, but on the secrecy of its keys. Additionally, this paper will address historical examples where closed-source financial systems, including certain blockchain projects, have collapsed due to the inability of users to verify the integrity of their transactions. I mean, again, it's also part of economic principles. The entire fundamental base layer must be open source and economically competitive in order for it to be a commoditized digital network. That's it. So Terranode scales, but the protocol must always remain the same. The protocol was always there right from the beginning when Bitcoin was first started and the first coin was extracted, and that first coin had all the qualities that the network had, which made it a commodity, and those must never change. So you can scale them till to the moon, but what you can't do is change the fundamental principles that I so often go on about, which is economic competition, chain of digital signatures, unbounded scale, and a fixed token stroke asset supply, and then making sure they're all locked forever. The cryptographic foundations of open source in Bitcoin. The need for open source transparency in Bitcoin is deeply embedded in cryptographic theory. Yeah, I get that. Augusty Clercoff's in the 19th century principle of cryptographic security states that crypto systems should be secure even if everything about the system except the key is public knowledge. This principle underpins modern cryptographic practices, including the design of Bitcoin and its subsequent iterations. Bitcoin's reliance on proof-of-work cryptographic hashing and digital signatures means that its security model does not reset on secrecy, but on the ability of anyone to verify its correctness. If Bitcoin were closed source, users would have no way to ensure that the transactions are being validated correctly, that new coins were issued in accordance with the protocol, or that hidden vulnerabilities do not exist with the software. And again, they can't validate them on BTC because they've segregated the digital signatures, and they can't validate them on BCH because they've implemented Schnorr signatures, meaning the signatures are obfuscated. You can't validate them. There's no claim on them. I mean, it's amazing that CSW has done all this research. I mean, it's just phenomenal. He's literally a machine. You know, I mean, there's no way you could know all this unless you knew all this to start with, and the only way you can know all this is to absorb all the information. I mean, it's just staggering, absolutely staggering. And literally, we are witnessing a genius right here. It blows my mind. Blows my mind. Look at this. Bartlett J, 2021. The people versus tech. How the internet is killing democracy. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Right, let's get on to Zem Gao's article here. So this was just literally written on the 17th. This is 4 days ago. So he said, recommend my 2-volume book for more reading. Bit and Coin, merging digitality and physicality. Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, BSV, the upcoming Terranode, is the only blockchain system that offers the kind of scalability and transactional efficiency required by any global adoption of blockchain technology. One of the key benefits of such a system is not just the high level of verifiability itself, but the automation of a verification, or more broadly, automatically guaranteed integrity of data and processes. I'd collectively call it automated integrity. Yeah, good name. I often hear people say, all that sounds nice, but most companies don't need that level of variability. If paper signatures have largely worked, digital signatures such as DocuSign is more than enough. First of all, paper signatures actually don't work. Their verifiability is mostly an illusion. The only benefit of requiring a paper signature is really a psychological one, because it creates an empathetic feeling of commitment and also poses a hypothetical deterrent. Well, actually, it lays claim. If it's not signed, it's not valid. A living man or woman has to sign a document, and then they obviously have to prove their authorization that they can do so. They have the ability to do it. But in reality, the verification of paper signatures is not only unreliable, but also impossibly expensive. Well, not really. You know, I mean, the only reason you would need to sign a document or sign a contract, people should know what they're doing. But more importantly, shallow solutions like DocuSign do not offer a fundamental automated integrity. Without such automated integrity, the entire IT system of the world is neither scalable nor sustainable. If you're skeptical of this conclusion, just consider these two simple numbers. The average annual growth rate of the global IT industry is about 7%, while that of the cybersecurity industry is around 14%, double the IT industry as a whole. Because cybersecurity is a pure cost within the IT industry, it fundamentally renders the IT industry non-scalable and unsustainable in the long term. We don't perceive the problem and can feel it is okay only because currently the cybersecurity industry is only about 5% of the entire IT industry. However, given the current projected growth rates, that percentage may double every 10 years, meaning that 10 years later it might be close to 10%. If that still is not a problem, how about 20% after 20 years, 40% after 30 years, and 80% after 40 years? Cybersecurity is not even the only problem caused by the lack of automated integrity. With Terranode, Satoshi's original blockchain, not BTC, which has unbounded scalability, high efficiency and extremely low transaction costs, offers fundamental automated integrity to digital humanity. But why are people, even President Trump's team, still so blind and focused on crypto Ponzi's? Good question. Well, we know why. because they're dealing with shitcoiners with shit for brains, and they're dealing with a deep state who are purposely lying to them about what Bitcoin really is. That's what's going on. Right, let's have a look at some of these other posts here. CSW said, so this was one literally just yesterday. Oof. Said, I like having no corporate handlers anymore. I like saying exactly what the hell needs to be said without some grinning idiot in a suit whispering about tones and optics. I like ripping the lid off this rotten cage of garbage and letting the stench hit people in the face because they need to smell it. BTC is a corpse, a bloated, overfed, hyped, dead thing that somehow keeps twitching because enough idiots still believe it. Well, it's because of Tether. Tether keeps pumping the life into it. The so-called financial revolution, the people's money, the great escape from the banks and governments. Accept it's run by a handful of bucket shop exchanges and like-minded mining pools, choked by a cartel of developers and dependent on corrupt exchanges that freeze your funds whenever they feel like it. Decentralized ? In what goddamn world? Absolutely. Oh, check this out. Oh, Light has deleted his tweet. I believe that said something like, "Oh no, coming soon." Kurt did actually. Let's go on to Kurt's profile, and he said what you can expect quite soon. Oh, this is really funny. Look, he's retweeted Steve Patterson. What's this one? This is what cognitive dissonance looks like. The concept of they changed the design by not changing the code is literally too sophisticated for these people. Satoshi designed Bitcoin to scale with the block size increase. They refuse to increase the block size limit. What's he going on about? Yeah, but he's still banging on about Bitcoin Cash. Honestly, get with the program. Get with the program. I think maybe there was a quote that there we go. There goes. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. This is what he said. I think we can all feel something is coming. Something is coming. Get ready for it. That's going to be the title of the show with that picture there. Loving that. Loving that. Oh, beautiful. That's a great image there. Have some of that. Here we go. I'll have. Don't mind if I do. Use all these things in the future. Keep them in my collections. There we go. Got that bad boy. Excellent. Right, so let's see what else Craig has said. BTC, the greatest financial revolution, the future of money, the people's currency, a system designed to be fast, efficient, unstoppable. And what do? They broke it. Absolutely. China doesn't win by fighting, it wins by waiting. By sitting back, smoking a cheap cigarette, and watching America punch itself in the thingy over and over while calling it strategy. That's how China wins, by letting America lose. Yeah. You can tax a man, you can rob him blind, you can spit in his face and tell him it's raining, but don't effing tell him you're saving him while you're doing it. That's what a tariff is, a tax with a flag on it, a shakedown in the name of patriotism. The government kicks you in the balls. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, indeed. Oh, so much stuff. Congratulations to Craig. He posted this. University as well, Trinity St. David, Craig Stephen Wright. It is hereby certified that Craig Stephen Wright has been admitted to the degree of Master of Arts in Ancient History with merit. 13th of February 2025. Congratulations, Craig. More stuff. Loving this. So CSW actually retweeted this. Look at this. Elon Musk, what a great post this one. Bitcoin doesn't replace gold. Bitcoin replaces the internet. There we go. That sounds like something I should have got in first and said that. But there we go. 18th of March. That is... I think Kurt said that many times. But I don't think it's actually ever been written down. You know? That's awesome. That's awesome. Loving that. Loving that. Maybe a bit of poetry there from CSW. The man's on a mission. It's awesome. This was hilarious. Truth Machine said Bitcoin BSV has demonstrated even more transactions than Solana. He also said, I think, yes, Solana got a Twitter note about it. So somebody had said here, breaking, Solana has more daily transactions than all these chains combined, 85 million. What a load of crap. So Twitter has said Solana validator transactions and failed transactions are included in this count. This could be intentional to mislead perception of the network activity compared to other competitors. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. We don't know if it's like the deep state BTC crew saying that, but that's really quite funny. There's something else I was going to say about that. Oh, something about the US regulators recognizing proof of work as something significant. In order to make a digital commodity or something like that. But there we go. Right, let's have a look at this next one. CSW posted here. He said, "Wow, the NSA knew the 2009 Times headline." Yeah, so the Q Storm said here, they never saw it coming. Who is Satoshi Nakamoto? And this guy, James Otter Gunving, said, in 2002, the NSA creates the first Genesis block matching Satoshi's Genesis block in 2009. Who was Satoshi Nakamoto? A name derived from syllables Asian tech giant, ? Try the Bill Gates Foundation, so obviously a cynic there. And Craig said, wow, the NSA knew the 2009 Times headline. Which obviously they can't have done. Brilliant. Brilliant. And these are some of the things I've posted. If you want to know what the most valuable money will be, all you have to do is commoditize the most useful resource. Quite a few people seem to like that. Got some great videos out here. Let's have a look on my profile. Data can only be commoditized one way, which means there will only be one digital commodity, Bitcoin BSV. However, data can be securitized an infinite number of ways, which means there can be an infinite number of economically worthless cryptocurrencies. That's what it means, and that's what you're looking at here, you know. Oh, there was something about the short positions that was closed on BTC. Let's have a look here. So a record-breaking Bitcoin short worth $517 million closed by a whale. Is a BTC rally incoming? So they said here, an investor who opened a massive $517 million short position on Gregcoin with a 40x leverage closed all their trades Tuesday, profiting millions of dollars. What happened? The position was opened and an entry price of $83,898 on the perpetual trading platform Hyperliquid, and would have been liquidated had Bitcoin reached 85,557. However, none of the traders' perpetual futures contracts were active as of this writing, suggesting that the bets were closed. The whale walked away with a total profits of $9.46 million, with over $4 million in the last 3 days alone. Popular on-chain tracking platform Spot On-Chain confirmed these findings, adding that the whale bought $6.1 million in Ethereum following the exit. Oh, so right, so they're betting on BTC and buying Ethereum. Wow, I didn't know that. The 50x ETH whale has closed its BTC short position, earning $4.06 million profits in just 3 days. Notably, the whale deposited 17.82 USDC to Hyperliquid as a margin over the past few days, mainly to short BTC. Just now it closed up all its put positions and withdrew. Wow, $9 million, eh? It's alright for some, innit? The profitable closure of the highly leveraged short bet raised speculation that Gregcoin could reach 85,000 and beyond. Meanwhile, the percentage of trades positioned long on Gregcoin surpassed bearish bets, according to data from CoinGlass. The Apex cryptocurrency has dumped over 14% in the previous month and more than 23% since its all-time highs set nearly 2 months ago. Price action at the time of writing, Gregcoin was exchanging hands for $83,248, down 0.39% in the last 24 hours. Not bothered about that. Benzinger note, leverage trading, yeah. Turn market uncertainty, whatever, promotional things there, but yeah. There we go. So the whale closed his short position, making $9 million and $4 million in the previous 3 days to him closing it. Good job he did though, because I think the price touched above that. Right, let's have a quick read through this article. So I called it Bitcoin, the story explained. Bitcoin is the foundation layer of all future digital technologies, secured and underpinned by economic principles. If you want to know what the most valuable money will be, all you have to do is commoditize the most useful resource. The final draft of the Bitcoin white paper was written and created between the 24th of January 2008 and the 21st of August 2008 and published to the Social Science Research Network for peer review. It was later officially published to the cryptography mailing list on the 31st of October 2008, where a group of extremely competent individuals would discuss the information contained within it and how it could be put to practical real-world use. The reason behind the author of the Bitcoin white paper releasing it on the 31st of October 2008 was to provide a common, reasonable and equal opportunity for anyone and everyone to start the network themselves, and thus providing a common starting point so that the network could be classified as a commoditized network and not a securitized one. Next, the Bitcoin network was started and came into being on the 3rd of January 2009, when Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonymous author of the Bitcoin white paper, started the network himself by creating the Bitcoin Genesis block at height 0. Embedded in the Genesis block were the words from the Times newspaper published on that day. The message read, "The Times, 3rd of January 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks." And there we go. That was the newspaper there. There we go, 3rd of January 2009. On April 23rd, 2011, Satoshi Nakamoto sent his final message to the Bitcoin developers and disappeared, saying he'd moved on to other things. The purpose of this was to enable the network to grow organically without any central point of influence. This way, the growth of Bitcoin's distributed network could be categorized as commoditized, since it was outside the hands of anyone's central control or influence. In order to be classified as a commoditized system, the Bitcoin network had to be created with 5 fundamental economic principles to ensure that no one could manipulate or control the system. These elements are: 1. Economic competition. Each distributed operation that contributes to sustaining the Bitcoin network must be economically competitive to one another. This is because without competition, there is only collusion and centralization. In a digital sense, the only way to create economic competition is through a consensus mechanism called proof of work, initially created by Cynthia Dwork and Moni Nair in 1993. 2. A chain of digital signatures. Every transaction must carry with it a digital signature in order to validate, authorize and lay claim to the transaction. Without a digital signature, there is no way to prove who sent or who received the transaction. Should a dispute arise regarding a transaction, the evidence lies within the digital signatures to prove what happened and who sent what and when to whom. A chain of digital signatures creates a private association of Bitcoin users, which moves accountability and responsibility for any and all utility on the network away from its economically competitive foundation and onto the users of the network. This means that those operations who are sustaining the network are absolved of any responsibility for how it is used, since each user accepts and takes responsibility themselves by having a cryptographic digital signature attached to every transaction they make. The use of digital signatures instead of biometrics means only those involved in the transactions, i.e. sender and receiver, are known to one another, so all transactions on the network remain private. 3. Unbounded scale. This is essential so that limitations and restrictions cannot be artificially manufactured, and the network therefore not be centrally controlled via any form of manipulation. 4. A fixed token supply. This is essential so that the tokenized digital asset that the network operates that the network operators compete for cannot be inflated or deflated, and therefore have its economic value manipulated in any way. And again, that's the economic value, not the speculative market price of it. The economic value would be if you increase the supply of it fundamentally, you're diluting its value. So if it's fixed, then you can't actually change its value because the supply is not increasing or decreasing. And 5, a locked protocol. This is the 5th element that applies to all 4 listed above. These elements must never be altered or changed in order for the Bitcoin network and the Bitcoins extracted from it to be classified as commodities and therefore remain without any central point of authority or control. And that's the image there of the network. Economic competition, chain of digital signatures, unbounded scale, fixed asset supply, and then all other elements have to be locked. This was Jeff Garczyk's response to discovering the Bitcoin protocol. He said, "When I first heard about Bitcoin, I thought it was impossible. How can you have a purely digital currency? Can't I just copy your hard drive and have your Bitcoins? I didn't understand that how that could be done. And then I looked into it and it was brilliant." That was Jeff Garczyk, founder of Do Vegan Space Systems. Because all chains of digital signatures lead back to the Genesis block, it is essential that the creator of the network and the man behind the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto eventually reveal his true identity. This is because ultimately all accountability lies at the start of the network with the creator of the Genesis block, who can identify the living men and women that use the network. However, he could not reveal his identity at the start without undermining the network's classification as a commoditized network, since it had to go through a phase of neutral organic growth. The neutral organic growth phase was scheduled to come to an end on the 1st of January 2020, when the Tulip Trust containing the 1.1 million Satoshi coins would be returned to the pseudonymous author of the Bitcoin white paper and the creator of the Bitcoin network, Dr. Craig Wright. The Tulip Trust was set up and created by David Kleiman on behalf of Craig Wright on the 9th of June 2011 and contained 1,100,111 Bitcoin to be precise. The purpose of these coins were twofold. First, they would prove the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto, and second, they would act as Bitcoin's insurance policy should any bad actors attempt to change, alter, or fork the Bitcoin protocol to securitize the network, bringing it under any centralized form of control and remove all commodity value. Should this situation arise while the network was undergoing its neutral organic growth phase, the economic power of the 1.1 million Satoshi coins could be used to move the market back onto the genuine Bitcoin protocol and the world run on a commoditized network with common value rather than being under any central form of control. On the 1st of August 2017, a group of developers calling themselves Blockstream, with funding from the central banks and traditional financial services sector, created a completely different alternative crypto protocol and colluded with the crypto exchanges that many people purchase Bitcoin from to get their new protocol and digital coins listed with the ticker symbol BTC. That was initially used to represent the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin. This caused a lot of controversy within the market because it meant the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin would now have to be listed under a new ticker. This new ticker symbol was BCH. However, the genuine Bitcoin kept the #1 legacy address for all its transactions, since it was still the original protocol. This was something the Blockstream developers could do nothing about. Their SegWit protocol used legacy wallet addresses beginning with the letters BC or the number 3. Since segregated witness, SegWit, breaks the chain of digital signatures, it means that accountability is lost and the Blockstream developers can make changes to the network protocol without anyone knowing. This grants them central control of the network, but at the cost of removing all fundamental economic commodity value, leaving it with nothing more than an overinflated speculative price. Or speculative market price. However, when education catches up with speculation, its speculative market price will soon match its fundamental value at zero. SegWit fundamentally and irreversibly changed BTC from a commodity into an illegal, unregistered, economically worthless security offering. On the 15th of November 2018, another group of developers, led by a character called Roger Ver, proposed to create an alternative securitized protocol and yet again collude with the crypto exchanges to list it with the ticker BCH. However, once again, they could do nothing about not being able to use the #1 for their canonical transaction ordering protocol, wallet legacy addresses. So on the 15th of November, BCH wallet legacy addresses started to begin with the letters P or Q. Not only did they implement canonical transaction ordering, meaning the transactions were no longer recorded in chronological order within a block, which effectively meant a third party was tampering with transactions and therefore securitizing the network, they also implemented Schnorr signatures that obfuscated the digital signatures, meaning the digital signatures could no longer be validated on the network, allowing BCH developers to make changes to the network protocol code without anyone knowing, irreversibly removing all economic value from the network in exactly the same way Blockstream did to BTC. This meant that the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin was listed with a new ticker symbol yet again. This time it would be called Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, Bitcoin SV for short, and have the ticker symbol BSV. However, it still has and uses to this very day the #1 legacy addresses, indicating that it is the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin, and the only chain of signatures, digital signatures still intact that lead back to the Genesis block. Craig Wright has attempted to prove his identity publicly by going to court, but the legacy media, controlled by the central banks, refuses to accept that he is the creator and inventor of Bitcoin and in possession of the Satoshi coins. And here we got some newspaper articles here for when he won the Ira Kleiman case, and the court recognised he was the sole and rightful owner of the Satoshi coins. Bitcoin founder Craig Wright wins battle to keep his crypto billions. Craig Wright's Satoshi keys have been delivered. Australian man Craig Wright wins US court battle for Bitcoin fortune worth billions. Living quietly in a Surrey village. Is this really the man who invented Bitcoin? US court rules autistic tech genius Craig Wright created the cryptocurrency, and he could be worth a staggering £36 billion. And here's the Tulip Trust, to whom it may concern. CC Dr. Craig Wright. I acknowledge the trust and the transfer of Bitcoins to this trust. I have full control of all the software and the keys used to manage Bitcoin as of this date. Thursday the 9th of June 2011. It is agreed that I, Dave Kleiman, shall become the trustee for the transfer of the Satoshi I have received from Craig Wright. I acknowledge that I, Dave Kleiman, have received 1,100,111 Bitcoin from Craig Wright. At the time of transfer, it's valued at around 100,000 USD. So it sounds like each coin was worth 10 cents at the time. I will form a trust to be managed by at least 3 people, but not more than 7 at any time. All Bitcoin will be returned to Dr. Wright on the 1st of January 2020. And that's the link to the Tulip Trust document right here. Cool. Andrew Hagen admits that Craig Wright proved to him privately that he has access to the Satoshi encryption keys, and he said, Craig, having showed me privately that he had access to the Satoshi encryption keys. Judge James Edward Miller declared on the 24th of May 2024 in his written statement that Dr. Wright was not Satoshi Nakamoto and did not start the Bitcoin network, despite declaring on the 23rd of August 2023 that Dr. Wright expended substantial skill and judgment in creating the Bitcoin file format and had devised and created the Bitcoin file format in the course of writing the code for the Bitcoin system. The purpose of Bitcoin and its network is to create a commoditized digital internet, sustained by a distributed, worldwide, economically competitive server network, where all users can benefit from owning and controlling their own digital content, since it cannot be censored, cracked, hacked, altered, changed, or deleted. This is especially valuable for digital transactions representing financial value, such as those made by organizations like Visa and Visa, MasterCard, and any internet banking transfers, etc. The reason to purchase Bitcoin is to access its network, since the only way to upload any content is to pay the Bitcoin operations in Bitcoin BSV to do so. The cost of a small data transfer, for example a transfer representing a financial transaction, is 1/10,000th of a US cent, meaning it would be possible to send billions of dollars worth of value for a fraction of what it would cost a traditional financial institution with very burdensome overheads such as upkeep and security of their own private servers, staff wages and premises, etc. This means that all financial institutions will be economically incentivized to start using the Bitcoin network to take advantage of its economic efficiencies and digital security. Amazon makes more money from its web services, AWS, than it does from its traditional business, which indicates just how valuable the Bitcoin network could be, which will inevitably be reflected in the market price of the Bitcoin BSV coin. There's an African proverb that says, a lie has many variations, the truth none. This can be applied to a statement about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Data can only be commoditized one way, which means there will only be one digital commodity, Bitcoin BSV. However, data can be securitized an infinite number of ways, which means there can be an infinite number of economically worthless cryptocurrencies. There we go. Loving that. Right, let's have a quick look at some 365 days of Bitcoin history. On the 18th of March 2020, Right BTC said, we are delighted to announce that Right BTC will be listing Bitcoin BSV. Deposits and withdrawals will be available when trading opens at 8 a.m. UTC on March 18th, 2022. That was cool. So that's Right BTC. On the 18th of March a year ago, Terranode realizes the potential of blockchain technology. This was in the FinTech Times. Look at that. There we go. Remember this one. Terranode realizes the potential of blockchain technology. Look at that. Can you believe it? It was over a year ago now. Over a year ago. 18th of March 2024. 19th of March 2003. The war in Iraq started. American and Allied forces began the war not on the ground but in the skies. What unfolded was dozens of airstrikes across Iraq targeting early warning sites and Iraqi leadership, meant to pave the way for the ground invasion that launched March 20th. So I think that was Operation Shock and Awe. We all know about that now. On the 19th of March 2013, Hal Finney released a post called Bitcoin and Me. He said, when Satoshi announced the first release of the software, I grabbed it right away. I think I was the first person besides Satoshi to run Bitcoin. I mined block 70-something, and I was the recipient of the first Bitcoin transaction when Satoshi sent 10 Bitcoins to me as a test. After a few days, Bitcoin was running pretty stably, so I left it running. Those were the days when difficulty was 1 and you could find blocks with a CPU, not even a GPU. I mined several blocks over the next days, but I turned it off because it made my computer run hot and the fan noise bothered me. In retrospect, I wish I had kept it up longer, but on the other hand, I was extraordinarily lucky to be there at the beginning. The next I heard of Bitcoin was late 2010, when I was surprised to find that it was not only still going, but Bitcoin actually had a monetary value. Bitcoin Peace Day. I think it was May 22nd, 2010. Amazing. 19th of March 2015. Chief Minister's daughter bats for Bitcoin. So it said here, this is Daily Express. CM daughter bats for Bitcoin. Nara Patel, daughter of Chief Minister, I'm not going to pronounce that name there. Patel on Thursday said that online payment system Bitcoin was worth trying. Anna, who is co-founder of the NGOs Gramshir and Manav Sandar, was a panelist at a conference, Future of Money, the Bitcoin Story. The conference was organised by Zeb Pay, India's first Bitcoin app, started by city-based entrepreneurs and top industry bodies. Cool. 20th of March 2015, there was a Baron David Ward's affidavit. So for any truthers, they know that's quite important. 20th of March 2019, they said forks as a demerger or a split, or a split as a copy. That was one of Craig Wright's posts. I don't think that's there anymore. Oh, bring it back. On the 20th of March 2024, so it was last year, Handcash brought out Ramps. How cool is that? A year ago today. 21st of March 2014, Mt. Gox finds 200,000 missing Bitcoins in an old format virtual wallet. How crazy is that? 21st of March 2018, Bitcoin will eventually be the world's single currency, says Twitter CEO. That was Jack Dorsey. 21st of March 2019, there's got Craig posted a blog out saying privacy versus hypocrisy. And then tomorrow was Luke Dack Jr.'s famous tweet where he said there's no way to block Light Wallet, or we probably would. SPV proved to be unworkable. If people are too poor to run a full node, they just can't use Bitcoin. Unbelievable. And this is the guy that goes around like eating cats and all that crap. Good grief. Right, there we go. I think that's all done. Yeah, great. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. So, as ever, if you enjoyed these updates, please ding your donations for your appreciation to either Satoshi@Sendme.com, Handcash.io, Rockwallet.me, Simply.cash, Related.com, or Senti.ch. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
The king still has one more move.